All right, I'm here with Marcus Kurth. Marcus, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Appreciate you being here. So we're going to do a deal review. Marcus is a local flipper that we've worked with many times, and we're just going to walk through a deal that he did and try and learn from him. So firstly, how'd you find the deal?
So I've been cold calling and texting and all the generic marketing tactics for a few years now. So this one came in actually 4 years ago. I assume that it's from a text message or a cold call. Didn't respond to us. 2 years later, we finally got a response from him, and then we got it under contract. After that, there was a whole slew of title issues and whatnot. So this is fast forward 4 years later. We finally closed the deal a few months ago, and we're 7 days away from fixing it up to be completely done. And it's been a long road, but it should be a fruitful one. So we're excited.
Wow, so it took 4 years.
4 years, yeah. It's in the follow-up.
That's incredible. Urban Gates only existed for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it takes follow-up, takes time for sure.
That's great. What did you pay for it?
So for this deal, we had to go through attorneys. The title was completely messed up. He couldn't sell it to anyone because there was other heirs that were clouding the title for, he was paying taxes for 30 years. So let's assume that amount of time. So he didn't really have a price in mind. He had tried to sell it for 150, 200, couldn't do it. So we finally got under contract for 89,000.
Wow.
And we put about 200,000 into it. We're almost done. We're excited. 89,000. Not bad for a duplex in Old Hickory.
That's incredible. So 89 purchase and 200K into the property.
Mm-hmm.
How did you finance this?
With the hard money lender. Yep.
And would you mind sharing the rough terms of what that looked like?
Yeah, so if you do get a really good deal, as you know, you're willing to lend more on the property. So if you do get a good deal on a piece of property, you can get more leverage because there's more safety for the lender. So as a result of getting a good deal, they're able to lend almost all the purchase price. You do have to bring a little ancillary things like money at the table for the payments, show liquidity, bring a little bit of the down payment, but not too much, and then pay for the points and the closing costs. Obviously, the title company is going to want their money. So we brought about $10,000 down to borrow close to $300,000. Wow. So it does pay off to get good deals because then you can get more money in the game. Obviously, you do need to manage your risk and leverage overall, but getting good deals helps you scale a business. As you know, you're willing to lend to people more who have good deals, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of how that worked. So very little skin in the game due to the spread on the deal.
That's pretty incredible. So that's the benefit of having a lender that you know, and because I'd imagine that probably wasn't the first time you worked with them.
It wasn't, no.
Yeah. Mm-mm. So those are really good terms.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so financed with a hard money lender, 4-year timeline to get it under contract.
Yep.
What about that rehab budget? So that's a huge reno budget. Tell me a little about what all you guys did, what was like, what you thought it would be versus what it ended up being, and that whole story.
Well, in the flipping game, it's at this point, I'm kind of like, it's not going to be what I thought it was going to be at the end of the day. So that's a kind of a given at this point. In terms of surprises and construction, I always hope that we make X. I try and shoot for, let's say, 60,000 on a deal. If we hit that, great. If not, it's fine and we can make that less. So in terms of, how did it go that I didn't think it was going to go, I don't quite know. I just know that it's going to be within the realm of being profitable for us at the end of this deal. When we look at the QuickBooks at the end of it, it's, whether it's 10,000, 20,000 over budget or under budget, it's going to be okay. But it just comes with having kind of getting beat up on a bunch of deals to know that the spread's going to move a little bit, but that's okay as long as you have a good spread going in.
Yeah. So you almost looked at it as like, there's enough spread on this deal that if we go over, we feel comfortable enough with it.
Yeah, there's always surprises with remodels. So you kind of have to bake that in. And if you're okay with those surprises, then you go ahead and do the deal.
That's a perfect segue. What was the biggest surprise with that deal?
Well, it was a full remodel, so there wasn't any surprises about the construction. I will say the big thing I learned was we're actually going to HPR this property, so it's a duplex now. Okay. And we're going to create 2 condos. So I was kind of like thinking to myself, how can you increase value of a property that you don't have any material like change on. So why does it go up in value just by changing the underlying dynamics of it, aka it becoming 2 condos? And with this deal, I realized that it's a pyramid. Obviously the most expensive properties at the top, but at the bottom, there's so many more buyers at the bottom. So it's a supply and demand thing. So you're able to pretty much just get to more buyers. And just by changing it from a duplex to condos, you automatically get an increase of price without changing. So that was a cool thing to learn from this specific project.
Interesting. And when in the process did you realize that?
When I submitted the HPR docs, I was just curious to why does it become worth more just by submitting this paperwork, right?
Yeah. Cool. And so you haven't sold it yet, correct?
We might keep it as a rental, to be honest.
Okay.
Just depends on, what we get from an appraisal or what we think we can do with it, or frankly, how the finishes turn out. But it is a good rental, and, sometimes it's nice to take your chips off the table. So we'll see.
Yeah. So if you were to sell it, what do you think it would sell for?
I think we could sell each condo for $299. So we might make, with closing costs, agents, all that, anywhere from $250 to $275. If we keep it, we don't have to pay those costs, and we get a paper equity of maybe $300. So
that's incredible. Yeah, that's an insane spread on a deal, but also that justifies the time it took to get the deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was quite a few different things that went into it. One was being able to work the quiet title with the attorneys, clear the title, having the construction acumen, and then being able to, split the property into 2. There's a few different things working there. So, but at the end of the day, it comes down to getting a good deal.
Yeah.
And being able to work the deal, which just takes time and experience. And slowly but surely, you pick up these little things in your tool belt, and sometimes it works out.
Awesome. Well, you've kind of mentioned this, but last question I have is, what would you say is the main lesson you learned from this deal?
It's kind of reiteration of follow-up for me on this one. I mean, there were so many times that the deal was dead, it was back alive, back dead. It's kind of you just keep pushing. You don't get emotional. You don't get upset. You just keep on keeping on. And eventually deals like this will fall into your lap. You just do it consistently over time. And this deal was a validation of that. And we're going to keep doing that.
Awesome. Well, appreciate your time, Marcus. You are actually doing a giveaway. Why don't you tell us about that?
Sure. I have a rental calculator that I use for everything. My favorite piece about it is the depreciation aspect. There's a couple different ways you can depreciate a property, which is straight line depreciation, or you can take it all at once. So it'll give you kind of an idea of whether you want to take it at once or straight line it. That's been the nicest piece for me to determine kind of where I am with my taxes if I want to, take it all at once, like I said. So if you DM me, my Instagram is mkurth_BM, and just shoot me your email. I can send this to you. It's just an Excel sheet. You plug in your numbers, plug in your rent, what you got it for, what your debt is, and I can help you make a good decision. So go ahead and DM me your email, and I'll send it over to you guys.